This week, I am in the throes of coming back home and recuperating from my 5-day silent retreat. I had the immensest, most amazing, blessed opportunity to go to Memphis about halfway through spring break and spend 4 entire days. It was a 5-day retreat, but 4 of those days were entirely in silence. We went to daily mass. We had some presentations by a woman who was coordinating, leading the retreat. So we had, information and things to meditate on, and just hours of adoration and solitude and quiet, and a break from the world. When I got there, I turned my cell phone off completely and did not turn it back on until it was, breakfast the day that we were packing up and leaving. I don't worry, my husband had an emergency contact phone number, and we had a way of getting in touch if anything was going on. But I really had a chance to just completely detach from the world, and I loved it. And so for the past couple of days, I have been thinking about, like, what do I want to talk about with you guys, because there's so many things, and I think that I'm still processing it. And really, a huge takeaway for me from this retreat was God asking me to do less and to be more, and to just come to him in prayer, just to be with him, not to ask for things, not to list off this litany of all these amazing things that I'm doing, but really to just revel and to enjoy and embrace the opportunity to just kind of sit back and just enjoy the embrace of our loving Father. And I did that really to the best of my ability. Fascinating. It was like a fascinating experience to kind of see how I did in the silence. And the not talking part was surprisingly easy for me, because I'm a talker. You guys know, like, I love to talk. I can always talk about pretty much anything. And especially if you get me talking about faith and religion and theology, like, I can talk for hours on end. Um, and so that was surprisingly easy for me to just not speak. We were not to make eye contact with other retreatants and kind of just walk past in the hall so that we wouldn't break our silence. That was a little bit awkward, because I do love, looking at people and smiling. So that was more challenging. But what I really, really struggled with is, like, I didn't miss my phone. I didn't find that there was, like, too much free time, or we were just sitting around with nothing to do. Like, I enjoyed the hours of prayerful meditation. But what I really struggled with is a thing called interior silence. A lot of the saints have talked about this, that even when there's a great cacophony of things going on in the world around you, you can always find that interior place, that interior silence where God dwells within each of us, and keep that peace and have that peace. One of the visuals I have for that is I think about the gospel story of the storm and all the apostles in the boat. And then Jesus is just laying there on a cushion asleep. It's like, who could sleep through the crazy, crazy storm? But if you have that level of peace and that interior silence that Jesus has, like, you can sleep through the storms. So whatever storm is going on in your life, you can have that peace. And I think that's part of why I felt so called and so excited about the opportunity to go on this particular retreat, is because I really desire that calm, because I can't change the fact that there are kind of storms always going on in my life. I don't know about you, but there always seems to be something. I live with, other human beings who are going through things, and I live in a world surrounded by other human beings. And so there's always something. But I want that peace. And so one of our last sessions that we had with our retreat master, she said something that convicted me so deeply. And so I decided this is what I wanted to bring to you guys today. She told us that when we were talking about spiritual attack, so when the demons are trying to derail us and get us off our path to holiness, that when the demons can't convince us to sin, then they will convince us to say yes to too many good things as a way to derail us. And when I sat with this, I felt so convicted, because here's the thing. There is no way I'm not going to wake up today and, like, no demon and no thought is going to convince me that it's a good day to go murder somebody. And I can't even be convinced that I should skip my Bible study and instead just go to the salon and get my nails done and, pamper Maria and do whatever Maria wants to do. Those like I desire holiness. I desire to do what God wants to do. I'm not perfect 100% of the time, but like I'm not going to be choosing those like explicitly less desirable. I mean, well, like murder obviously is horribly sinful, but then there's also choices that would be like there's a holy option or a selfish option. That the selfish option, goodness, is not necessarily sinful. And there are definitely times and places when those are necessary, and it's not necessarily a sin, but it can kind of just knock us off course a little bit. But here's how they can get me. I can be convinced that I need to sign up for every good and holy thing. Every volunteer opportunity that comes across my desk, I'm like, yes, sign me up. Send me to the church, and somebody calls and needs something else. Like I'm there, and they need volunteers at my kid's school. And so then I'm there, and whatever's going on. And, there will be like videos and classes and books and like all of these different things that I can sign up for. Like I'm at our church right now at our parish, where I'm simultaneously doing a book study on Interior Castle and a Bible study with a small women's group. And I love these things, and they fill me up and they make me feel good, and I'm growing in holiness. But when I look at my calendar, there are more things that I have scheduled than I have time in the day. And so what it is actually coming down to is that these good things that anyone objectively would look at and be like, yes, this is important, this is good, this is holy. These things, because there are so many, and because I have just said yes, carte blanche, without discerning and without taking the time to really pray about, like, what is God actually asking me to do? And what of these things is how I am meant to be spending my time? Because then I'm so exhausted that I don't have patience with my kids at the end of the day because I'm so busy every day while they're at school. Or, when they get sick and all of a sudden I have to cancel my engagements and the things I thought I was going to do, then I'm angry at my kids for inconveniencing me and throwing my day off. And that's not what is important. Like what God has told us is important is first to honor, love, and worship God, and then our families, and then everything else. So if you have a job outside of the home, or if you do volunteer work, or if it's theological study, or whatever else is going on in your life, all of those things have to come after your time for God and your time and love for your family. Like those have to be first. And so I have decided I'm gonna enter a season of prayerful discernment. One of the things that I do is I get really excited about everything, and I just say, there's an opportunity. I'm like, yep, okay, me, sign me up. And I'm just ready to go. And I don't prayerfully discern if that's what God is asking for me. So instead of just chopping things off my plate right away and thinking, oh my gosh, I have too much and I need to do less, I need to just chop them, I'm trying. I'm going to be not as impulsive. And so I'm going through a period of giving myself a couple of months to really discern, what is God really calling me to? And what are the things that they may be good empirically, but they're just not right for me right now. And I hope that by doing this, that I can continue to be molded and formed and shaped and grow closer to becoming the saint that God really wants me to be. That's all I have for you today. I am Maria Riley, just a sinner in the throes of trying to be a saint.